for the QME package, which stands for Quantitative Methods in Education, which is some of us, but you can use it even if you're not in our program. And this helps, does basic test theory analysis and helps you to diagnose and improve your test. And a lot of people have been involved in writing this package, and if you want to suggest a feature or to help write the package, we are a welcoming, warm, loving group of people, as you can see. So this is if you're writing a test, especially a multiple choice test. But as we know, most tests are awful. And so the QME package helps out by helping you score your test very quickly. So translate from the responses to scores very quickly and conveniently, and I think much more conveniently than many other packages. And quickly allows you to generate a bunch of reports on your test so you can see which items are functioning better and worse and how the test as a whole is doing to improve your test. So there's a lot of drawbacks of the existing packages for doing this out there, which is part of what inspired us to create this package. So to do this kind of analysis, you kind of had to load a whole bunch of different R packages in, and you had to learn a bunch of different functions in those packages and for the one function in that package that did that really standard part of the analysis. So we wanted to make it really easy to just do this in one go in R, and to do it with a minimum number of functions, since we really want mostly the same things every time when we're analyzing a test. We don't need to learn a bunch of fancy things if we're just doing a basic classical test theory analysis. And also, we do the distractor analysis in a better way than all existing software. We've been working with Michael Rodriguez to help correct some ways that we're doing stuff, and as far as we know, no one else is producing these statistics in the way that we are. So it's relatively easy to install. So you use this install GitHub command. You can also just Google QME Package or QME R and it'll help you install it. The package currently isn't on CRAN, so you can't use the install.packages function, but it's relatively easy to get this guy going on your computer. So how it works is you can tell us about your test. So the package needs to obviously know your raw responses. So here's a kind of sample data set where we have students in rows and items in columns. And then you need to tell us how those are scored. So there's two ways you can tell us if it's just right answer, wrong answer kind of thing. Whoa, is it auto advancing or something? Just right answer or wrong answer, you can just tell us the correct answers for each item. Or if you have some kind of more complicated scoring scheme, like you have partial credit, you can tell us all the possible responses and the score that each response gets. So it's fairly flexible. It can handle a wide variety of formats. And you can actually pass in just scored data already if you want. What you lose is you don't get the distractor analysis if it's already scored 0, 1, or however. And then all you have to do is this one command, analyze, and then you get an object out of that and you run a report on it. And all of this is specified on that website, on our website as well. So just run basically 2 commands and you get a full report with a whole bunch of features in it. So in that report you get a bunch of different reliabilities. You've got the classic coefficient alpha, which is maybe not as recommended, and a couple sort of more modern reliability estimators to see how reliable your test is. We've got some basic item analysis, so you can see which items are not well correlated with the rest of the test and are kind of lowering your reliability. And for each item, we have a breakdown of how each of your item responses is functioning, Corey's going to talk about some of the output in more detail, but I'm just kind of giving an overview. And we have some nice things coming. We just met with Michael Rodriguez this morning about some features we're going to add to the package, including we're going to make this package work well with rating scale data. And Michael had some good suggestions of how to do that, and it won't actually be that hard. So probably in the next 6 months or so, we should be able to handle rating scale data as well for constructing a rating scale, which I know you social people love doing that. So thank you. That's my presentation. Does anybody have any questions before we kind of dive a little bit more into the package?
I have a question. So with the scoring, if some items are worth like half a point and some are worth 1 point, does that get put in with the, but you know, when you had like a slide with the key answer and then like the partial credit. So if I wanted to make like item 1 is worth a half point, not a full point, then would you do that with the partial credit kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, if item.
So like, let's say item 2, I wanted to give, like item 1 is worth a full point and item 2 and 3 are each worth a half point. Then would I just do that with 1.5 for 2, 1.5 for 3?
Oh, I don't think.
I don't know if that would handle it.
I don't know if that would handle it.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, we could
if
experiment
you could do
with
like
that.
weighted scores.
Yeah, it's sort of it's yeah, we haven't really thought about weighting different items before. Yeah, this might do that. I'm not actually totally sure. We could try it and see.
It might just be a matter of weighting the correct response as a half point, but we haven't really tested it out.
Right.
It would be easy to compute like a weighted score, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be easy enough. What is that? I don't know psychometrically what that does to things like, does it change reliability anyway? Or
If you're
some of
weighting
those things that you're weighting?
Yeah.
Take a little thought.
That's really interesting. Because I mean, if people use this for classroom assessments, almost every classroom assessment is weighted. That's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you want me to go over the shiny piece too?
Yeah, you can quickly show that. I think it's not shared.
So then, another good feature of this program is that we kind of create a Shiny app for it, or part of it. The Shiny app is a more interactive application of the package itself. Are you guys familiar with Shiny? No. So it's pretty much turning this R package into a point and click. So it makes it a lot easier using R code. So here's the R code used to generate it, but then when I run the app, I get this simple Shiny app that pops up.
And so if they've installed the package, that's a feature they can have, Corey?
Yes.
Yes. It doesn't work today, and we don't know why. But it worked yesterday.
It worked. Yeah, we have seen it in action. Yeah. And it literally is after you install the package, you just run a function.
Yeah.
And this pops up.
And then you get up.
Yeah.
That's all you get. Yeah.
And then all you need to do is choose a file. We have this map. And then choose a key. And then you see the data, and you see the key. And this data ID checkbox, if your data comes in with ID as the first column, then you need to click it. Because when you're running the analysis, the first column should be item 1, or the first item 1. And so then if you have ID as your first column, then we have this little checkbox here for you to check. Key, and then the summary takes a little while, but then it kind of analyzes and spits out a report. And then you get an HTML report. But then I'm trying to work on it to print out the report in Word or PDF form, which you can do easier on just using R. And here I have a report for another math exam. I think it's math. Another exam, another data set. And this data set is 56 items compared to the 10 items and 30 students from earlier. And so then you get a distribution of the total scores, and then you also get kind of the number of examinees, the number of items, and then you get your kind of summary stats, right? Maximum, minimum, mean score, which can be helpful, you know. And then your reliability estimates that Ethan was talking about, and then you know, coefficient alpha, which is not recommended, right? Why? Why is it
Michael said.
recommended? Yeah, so yeah, because Michael said so. There's the assumption of tau equivalence, right? And we never really meet tau equivalence. Tau equivalence is pretty much like every student has different true scores, but then on between tests the true scores are the same, but then you know that's not really what we get. So it's kind of hard to fulfill that assumption. And then there's the other reliability estimates. In the future, we probably hope to put in other estimates of reliability.
And we just talked with Michael this morning about putting a warning about alpha right in the report.
Yeah, I've always thought about G theory. I like G theory. Just creating some G studies and G studies,
Yeah.
which might be better estimates of reliability. And then, yeah, we're planning to take this out. And then the item overview. Yeah, the item overview of each item. So you get the what's useful here is the corrected point by serial for the correct answers for each item, and it shows the number missing, and that's really helpful. But then, usually when you do item analysis, you're interested in the quality of the test items, right? Qualities of the test itself. And most of the time some people say, you know, the quality of the test item depends on the distractors. And so what's really great and unique about this are the distractor analysis for each item. Oh, you get this nice little plot of the item difficulties as well. Forgot about that. But moving on to the distractor analysis for the plots. So you get, for each item, say item 1, you get a plot that breaks down the terciles between low, medium, and high ability students. So based off of total score. And then it shows the proportion of the third of lower ability students and the proportion of getting the item correct. And as you see, this is the legend over here on the right side. You guys see my mouth, right? And so you have A, B, C, and D as the response options, and then you have a missingness, right? Missingness option as well. So students who didn't put in a response option, they all go with the missing. And so typically the correct answer should be the positively sloped kind of between the low, medium, and high tercile. And then the other response option should be not positively sloped. And so that's kind of how you figure it out. And you kind of want that, right? So if you get two positively sloped response options, then it gives you an idea of why that option isn't good, or why the item isn't good, and you need to kind of fix it up and modify it. And then after the plot, you get the kind of the numbers, right? You get the difficulty or the proportions, right? Typically, the more people who get it right, the kind of easier the item is, and so you want items to be kind of in the middle range, right? I think the recommended is like 0.35 to like 0.8 or something. Something around there. I think that's subjective. And then the response discrimination. So that's pretty much how how well the item distinguishes between high ability and low ability students. And then you want that to be kind of above 0.2. For both the distractors and the correct answer. And what we do different, as Ethan was saying earlier, is that we calculate the distractor discrimination correctly. Most of the time, other software like JMetric or SPSS or I don't know what else does. That's what test theory analysis. Oh yeah, Item Man. When they calculate the distractor analysis for discrimination for the distractors, what they do is they take all students, right? They correlate all students that got it wrong versus all students who got it right. But then the correct way is actually just take the students who selected that wrong option in B and correlate that with the students who got it right. Right? Instead of B, C, and D with A, you just want B to A and C to A specifically. And that's the actual correct way to calculate this. And no one else does this. So this is actually, this is new and it's pretty good, you know. And then we plan to turn this into kind of follow the APA guidelines. It's not done yet, but then we'll do it, right? So it's just simply just take out the zeros off the proportions, anything that doesn't go above 1. And then, yeah, that's the breakdown of one item. And I have I'll show you an item that's kind of problematic, or distractors that are. So item 32 here, it's kind of problematic because it seems like, because there's two positive, or there's one positive discrimination and one that's not negative. So selection, response option D here seems to be problematic. A lot of students are choosing it and it doesn't seem to have any correlation with the total score at all. And so some high ability students are thinking that D is the correct answer and they're getting it wrong. So maybe there's a problem with B and D, the response options, or maybe there's kind of a misperception from high ability students that D is the correct answer. And so we need to go back and maybe reword it, check it out, you know, and fix this item. So that's kind of some of the things that I
Is D the purple one?
D is the purple one, yes.
So you
it's
see
actually going up a little.
Yes.
medium ability students have a higher proportion than low ability students, and
Oh,
high
yes.
ability students are still answering it more. So
So
that's why it's problematic, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing.
And so actually this test actually had a large sample size, so everything is actually pretty stable. So this is the only problematic or questionable item. And then yeah, that's kind of an example of what this report can generate. And I mean, check out the report. I mean, it's in Word document. You can also print it out in PDF, but it just looks nice, you know.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest thing of it. And I guess that's the end of my little spiel on the practical piece of it.
Can you talk a little bit about, without showing any data, about your experience using it with FAST?
Oh yes. So then I did use this for FAST. FAST is computer adaptive tests created by Ted Chris here, our own Ted Chris. And then I used this to kind of do some item analysis for some of their measures. And we identified a lot of items that were poor. And so that was really good because we wanted to kind of go back and modify these items. But before we could do that, they had already done some factor analysis, and so we had to use the construct scores with the bad items, and that just couldn't be helped. But then it was interesting because this package actually was very convenient for it. We just needed a simple item analysis, and all I had to do was kind of, you know, upload, import the data, spit out the report, and boom, it gave us everything we needed. And so, I mean,
And how many reports did you generate?
oh wow, I generated a lot of reports. So I think for every construct there was like grades 1st through 7th, and so I think there was like 11 constructs, so it's like 77 reports, somewhere around there, and then just create a loop.
Yeah, so since this is a computation to produce the report, you can put that computation inside of other computations to
Automatically
automate it.
generate
Yeah.
hundreds of reports if you.
Yeah.
So it's useful.
So you created the 77 reports in like a minute.
Maybe not a minute.
Maybe a minute and a half.
But then, any questions? I mean, I guess this is quicker than I thought.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the package itself. And we're still going to do more to it, but then it's able to be used now.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get it out more because I mean, it's easy to communicate. With R, everything, all of this is like in different packages, right? So you gotta pull this from the site package, pull this from some other package. And so, but with package QME, it just focuses on item analysis and brings everything together in one package in one easy step. Couple easy steps.
So a short presentation because it's simple to use.
Yeah.
You know, maybe show them the GitHub page just to kind of.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so then this is the GitHub page. You can go to GitHub. The code there is free. It's kind of open source, right? And so you have access to all the functions that we created to be a part of this package. And then if you go down, there's also data and some vignettes which tells you what each part of the function does, of the functions. And then if you go down, there's kind of like an example of a quick kind of summary of what's kind of useful from the package and how to use them, and then how to install the QME package as well. And then when scoring, you just analyze the data and the key, and then you save it into some object. And then when you want to run a report, you just run a report on that object. And then you give it a file name. The default file name is like QME report. But then you can give it whatever report you want. And then you can output it in either HTML, Word, or PDF.
So the file name is where you can change the path and things to put it on your
Oh,
computer,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Yes, that
Yeah.
too. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. So and then yeah, that's what we have so far, and we've been together for 3 years, trying to create it, and now it's up and running.
That went from a germ of an idea to a functional package. It's pretty impressive, actually, when you think about it.
That's it. Any questions, comments?